Golden State Warriors. They started off the season 5-1, and since then, they've lost 19 of their next 31 games, leading them to a record of 17-20 as the 12th seed. The team that they are, or the team that they were, has not been what we've been seeing this season. They have Steph Curry still playing at a superstar level despite being 35, but it clearly hasn't been enough to the point that even he's been struggling lately. Some of their issues have been very apparent, so let's talk about them. Klay Thompson, he started off the season extremely bad, but now he's shooting the basketball pretty well lately, but they're still losing regardless, so let's move on to the next guy. If you were to ask me whether I thought Andrew Wiggins would have been playing this bad this season, there's no way I would have told you yes. He's averaging just 12 points on 42% shooting and an abysmal 30% from 3. Originally, when this slump began, if you can even call it that at this point, I had believed that he would have gotten it together quicker than Klay did, but it looks like I was mistaken. There's been no progress. Someone I do worry about is Draymond Green, because his antics have been getting worse and worse as the season has progressed. The constant ejections, he's choked out Rudy Gobert, hit Jusuf Nurkic, and now he's been suspended multiple times. So far he's averaging his most points in 2018, and that likely can be attributed to his 43% three-point shooting. And while that's great and all, him getting suspended constantly is not. While his behavior on the court hasn't been a problem in previous seasons because the team was good, they're not right now, and him getting ejected isn't bringing the energy to the team that he may hope. It's just been hindering them, especially since he isn't the Defensive Player of the Year caliber player that he once was. Now he's soon coming back after his suspension, and if he's truly changed, perhaps he can help elevate this team that's been struggling on both ends recently. Onto Chris Paul, I'd say he's assimilated into the Warriors off-ball motion offense pretty well. He's dishing out 7 assists a game with only 1 turnover, but I wouldn't say that he's been a game changer. He recently got surgery on his hand, so he'll be out for over a month, and it makes you wonder whether this was his last game as a Warrior, considering the trade deadline's coming up, and I really doubt that the front office wants to let this year go to waste as Steph ages. If he's in the deal as a salary filler, I wouldn't be that surprised. One thing that's become obvious is that the Big Three isn't good enough to compete anymore. We've got Draymond, who's been out of control, writing checks for Steph to cash out. We've got Klay taking bad shots but also not hitting the ones he should make. The big question is, what is the timeline for this team? I think the front office needs to sit down and ask themselves, what is our goal as an organization? What is our goal for the team in the future, and what sacrifices are we willing to make? The reason I'm saying this is because what they're doing right now is trying to have their cake and eat it too. And what I mean by that is that all the young players they still have. They're trying to balance out developing their young guys, but also trying to win a championship at the same time, and those two things don't mesh well. They did win in 2022 with Jordan Poole playing a large role, but outside of him, they're at a standstill. They have Moses Moody and Brandon Podziemski playing well, and though Kuminga hasn't taken that leap that they expected, and while that could be on him, it's not as if he's had the best opportunity to do so. The team's now at the point where their young guys playing well has been enough, and now we're hearing that Kuminga doesn't believe that Steve Kerr will allow him to reach his full potential, and Moody is also dissatisfied with his role in the team. Both of these stem from the fact that the Warriors 30 games into the season still do not have a consistent lineup to start or close out games. One game Moody will play his usual minutes, and the next he doesn't even touch the court. So are they going to look into making a big trade and finally choosing their timeline of a championship? Some of the players you may have heard about on the block are Pascal Siakam, Zach LaVine, and DeJounte Murray. Do I personally think any of these trades turn them into contenders? Not really, but they've put themselves into a position where they have to make some sort of move. Siakam would probably be the best fit due to his versatility to score in and out of the post, along with his passing ability. The only problem with that is that he'd be another wing on the team that isn't much of a shooter. They just lost by over 30 to the Pelicans, so I'm not sure if it's updated, but they're the 13th ranked offense and the 21st ranked defense. Part of what was so integral to the 2022 Warriors was their defense, not their offense, but there's been a shift since then. With the speculation that everyone outside of Steph is tradable, They might be looking to instead add some 3-and-D players onto the team like Dorian Finney-Smith, who helps improve the size in the front court and can be that defensive spark off the bench. Perhaps they could also look into getting a larger center that's better at screening, rolling, and finishing, because that's also been a problem with them starting Kevon Looney, along with him not being that great of a defender. If they can find some identity, whether it's on the offensive or defensive end, that'll likely help them get into a rhythm much more easier, because they've looked very sloppy since the start of the season. If you have any thoughts on the Warriors, leave them down in the comments below. Do you think they need another star, or do you think they need to just reconstruct the pieces around them? What should be done about their big three, and is it finally time for them to split up? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.